Welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to do a review of 28 Years Later. In this video we're going to do a plot in 60 seconds. We're going to do a deeper discussion about the plot and the believability. We're going to talk about underdeveloped themes in the movie. We're going to talk about the characters and performances, the tone and the horror, and then we're going to end with our ratings. And spoilers, I'm going to be pretty critical because I wasn't really too impressed.
Me neither.
So we're going to do a plot in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you remember how we decide who goes?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always win. I'll make it clear.
Oh, ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah!
I won! I won! It's the end of days!
How did you manage that?
Loser! I turned off my brain.
I'm turned on my brain. This is the problem. I was thinking, I was like, you did paper, so you're going to do scissors next because I did paper. And then I was like, I'll do rock. Yeah.
So iron.
Yeah. Am I going first?
Yeah.
Cool.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, it's 28 years later. 28 years later from the zombie rage sort of fucking yoke starting. We're in an island off the edge of Scotland, I assume. Everyone seems to have a Scottish accent. Maybe they don't have a Scottish accent. I probably made that up. And there's some of a community after starting back up, and they're off the island, and you kind of slowly learn that they've been living there as like that for the last couple of years. They have different things that they all learn and how they get their lives together and stuff. It's very simple. And then Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character brings his son onto the main island, and they kind of see what's afoot there and brings him back, and then his child decides to go off on one and see for himself what the mainland, if everything he's been told is the truth or lie. Bit shit plot. I didn't want to give too much away.
5 seconds. I don't think that give anything away. You could just do the plots for T.G. Carter.
Yeah.
Man with a blue van drives into town.
Yeah. So how is 6 go?
Okay, so as Erin pointed out, it's 28 years after the zombie apocalypse started, but we flash back to the time when it actually started, and there's a brief introduction to a character. Don't really need to know that. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, he's taken his son to the mainland, there's a commune off the northeast of England on a small island just by Newcastle, and they have to go to the mainland every few days to scavenge for provisions. It's Aaron Taylor-Johnson's son's first day out, even though he's 2 years younger than he usually would be to do this journey. Also, his mother is very sick, and his father let slip that there's a doctor on the mainland, so he takes it upon himself to take his mother to the doctor to see if she can be cured.
Very good. 5 seconds to spare.
I think yes.
Yours is way better.
Yeah.
I gave nothing away.
Well, we also did we say that like there's zombies running around and.
I think that's kind of I think you kind of assumed that. So that was good. Yours was the best one there.
Well, we'll let the people in the audience decide.
Yeah, I think the buzz of winning the rock, paper, scissors also spurs you on, though, when you're doing it. You know, that sort of way, like, I find. I think, talking about this film, though, this is probably going to be the first video where we're a bit more negative than usual.
Yeah.
But I think, because we usually try to be quite positive.
And as well, because the first film was so good, and it built that world so well. And it's a zombie apocalypse, but I felt it was really believable.
Yes.
And that's how it would happen. Or
yes.
Like, you have to put aside, you have to believe there's going to be a zombie apocalypse or this rage virus.
That was good. I like that sort of theory thing as well.
Yeah, but it's like once you come to terms with that, I still felt everything else that happened within it was believable.
Yes.
And how things played out.
And I also think, would you call it the marketing team? Whoever put the trailer together? Fantastic work.
Yeah.
Like, got me, like, that's been playing for months. Every time we went to the cinema it was on, it was literally like, this is going to be fucking class.
But did you know that Boots?
Yeah.
That was only added in for the trailer. And then they saw the trailer. Because, you know, they handed over to someone to edit the trailer. And they were so impressed with it that then they included it into the movie before it finally got finished. But
Oh.
yeah, like you said, the trailer was immense. And like, yeah, it just built up so much hype.
Yeah.
And see, I don't like it. I don't. Once there's a movie I know I'm going to see, I try not to watch
Spoilers, etc.
or anything else about it. Or
Yeah.
because I remember I watched Suicide Squad, and so many videos where they were breaking down the trailers and they were going, "Oh, this means this and this means this," and it felt like they focused so much on putting all these Easter eggs in the movie for Suicide Squad that they didn't make a good movie.
It was so bad.
Yeah, but there was so much level of detail.
Yeah.
I've been like, oh, this is a reference to this character,
Yeah.
and just Easter eggs
Yeah.
littered throughout it.
Mm.
So since then, I've tried to steer away from, like I didn't for Sinners, and like I said, I knew I was gonna watch this, and it's Danny Boyle as well.
Yeah.
And I love his movies. Yeah, most of his movies, and so yeah, I knew I was gonna see it, and I didn't want it because then I do kind of project what I want it to be, or I kind of interpret it
Mm-hmm.
my way, and then if it just gives them more room to fall short.
Yeah.
That being said,
Yeah.
I felt in the plot
Mm-hmm.
there was too many conveniences.
Yeah.
Too many convenient moments, like when they get stranded on the mainland, and they stay in that house.
Yeah.
That night the house collapses.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, it makes so much noise that we're going to have to make a run for it. And
Yeah.
you can only cross the bridge at low tide.
Yeah.
It was just perfectly timed that they could cross that bridge. It was just up to their shins to get through the water.
Yeah, but they did wait.
Did they?
Yeah, remember that's what they were waiting in the house for.
But the house collapsed, and then they made a break.
Oh yeah, that happened at the moment that the
Yeah.
house collapsed at the tide was perfect.
Completely.
Yeah.
And then they get chased by the Alpha. And the very last moment, they intercept the Alpha. It was too Hollywood.
Yes.
Like I said, the first one, it was
Kill off his. Can I say? Spoilers? Like kill off the father.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because then that would have made the rest of it make sense.
Yeah.
Do you know? Had he watched his father die at the hands of an Alpha,
Yeah.
then you would have been like, give him something, purpose, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lack of purpose.
I felt, like I said, you have to put on pause that it's a zombie movie. Accept that straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
But then there's still like real world elements. In the garage, remember when there was the gas leak?
Yes. Yeah, that shouldn't have. It was a big explosion.
No,
the gas leak
but
had a big
before
explosion.
that, they didn't get poisoned by the gas.
Yes.
And they were running around for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Then it blows up. And
no burns.
Completely fine.
Yeah.
But because they're on the ground.
Yeah, I feel like you'd go on fire.
Yeah, or you'd be messed up in some capacity.
Yeah.
But they were completely unscathed.
Yeah.
But the 5 or 6 zombies died.
Yeah.
Unrealistic feats by the characters. It's the kid's first day on the island to be a scavenger and a hunter, and his father just wants him to get his kill count up.
Yes, so he can get prepared.
They get chased. They wouldn't hit a barn door with an Uzi.
Yeah.
Arrows flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And
he panicked as well, also.
A day later, he's Ultimate Warrior.
Like, I don't know, he's meant to be 12 in it.
Yeah.
Like, one day, yeah, isn't going to harden you.
No way. But to the point where you can take down a horde of zombie, and then the mother, because she delusional or in a fevered state, that then she was able to survive on the mainland when there's zombies everywhere.
And like, introduction of characters, and then kind of drop off. But then like that, as you say, certain things happening, and then characters either killed off or like different parts not developed enough.
Yeah.
So say like at the beginning, it opens to a boy in a house with all these kids, and they're all murdered basically by the zombies except for him, and he runs off and finds his father, who's a vicar. The vicar seems a bit mad, but he was a prominent a prominent thing in the film, in the trailer. Remember the vicar? And he was like, my children!
Yeah.
He was like a big part of the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now that was done like straight away. So he was...
Yeah.
And then that kid at the beginning, I kind of obviously didn't, but like that child was introduced at the beginning,
And
and then it goes to Aaron Taylor Johnson, so you assume that's him.
but that's why I said that to you in the cinema.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's gonna be Aaron Taylor Johnson 28 years later,
Yeah.
and he's grown up.
Yeah. And then it wasn't. Now, people probably copped with the name. I don't know if the name was said at the beginning. It was. So remember, he had the little cross or the little
Yeah.
thing. So if you had a copped, I don't think it's the same name.
Possibly not.
But then you might have changed
Yeah.
your name over the years, whatever. So then that's fine. And then, so you've got Aaron Taylor Johnson, and then you've the child. And then, like, you've the side character of, like, the old man that's looking after the mother when the son's not there.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be a trilogy, so I don't know whether...
But I hate that baiting you that
Yeah.
you have to be here for emotional consistency. So the boy loves his mother, even though his mother is very sick and very confused. Will risk everything. So she needs a doctor. There's no doctor on the island. Finds out that there's a doctor who's gone rogue way back when he was a GP. So the father says that that's his campfire off in the distance. So then they go back to the island, and he makes it his mission to take the mother to the doctor.
The child does. The mother's in the bed for days, confused.
Yeah.
She goes on the mainland. She doesn't have one episode.
Very.
She's coherent.
Very minor.
She's coherent basically the whole time.
And she's like, I just need an aspirin.
I just need to chill for a minute, lays it down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so then Ray finds he's gone rogue, but they've managed to track him down. Other with just sort of like, we're gonna head in
towards the fire.
Yeah, a northwesterly direction.
Yeah.
It has to be him. So then he's actually and pretty well, no.
Sound out.
Yeah, he's a lot more sane than they thought. They
Old
thought
people.
he was like a cult leader type person. I think kind of like in Apocalypse Now, Colonel Kurtz. I think that's what they were. That's what I thought he was going to be like.
I also thought that maybe he was going to be like the preacher at the beginning of the film. That he was going to be like,
this is our Lord, this is our final judgment.
This is the final judgment, you know.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all the riffraff.
Yeah. Cleansing the
Yeah, that's what I thought, but that's obviously not what it was.
But yeah, his whole thing is
Memento Mori.
Memento Mori. Sterilizes or he cleanses. Well, how would you describe what he does? Just the process.
He takes the flesh off the bodies.
Yeah, but he then cooks it to.
He heats it so it comes off easily. So like you know, like you cook a chicken, it falls off the bone.
Oh, is that it?
That's what it is. So this flesh falls off the bone, and then you just rinse it with water so it comes off.
Yeah. So he
like a chicken wing, a chicken thigh. He barbecues them.
But he does it for the infected and the non-infected, just the dead. He says.
Does he?
Yeah, that's
okay. I thought it was just the not people.
No, because that's what he says. We're all the same, and everyone should be remembered. And he makes these massive skull monuments to remember everyone.
Yeah, very bone church in Prague vibes.
I haven't been.
Oh, it's a church made of human bones.
Oh, okay.
Class. Yeah, very that vibe. So it's a thing that's been done before.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he does, like he says himself, a rudimentary examination, and he deduces
Of the child's mother.
of Jodie Comer. He deduces that she has cancer and it's spread, and pretty much in the world that they live in now, there's nothing that they can do, and it's just gonna get worse and worse. And like he says in it, he said there's different types of death. There's good deaths and there's bad deaths. So this is what, 24 hours? No, 48 hours, because that's the night over. And then he's like, right, in me oven you go.
Yeah.
And the boy is like, he gets sedated, but he cooks up Jodie Comer, comes back with the skull.
I'm assuming he kills her first.
Yeah, I think he injects her with something, I don't think he cooks her alive. And then gives the boy the skull, and he's like, find a nice place for her. So he climbs to the top of the skull mountain and puts her head on top. He said, that's a beautiful selection. But just that he was willing to sacrifice everything to find a cure. And, like, doctors aren't great. I'd probably get a second opinion.
In that day and age. But then also as well, so
In
also
this day and age.
also spoilers, the boy was so upset because Aaron Taylor Johnson's character was cheating on his mum. Was she in the bed getting all blah, blah, blah. And then like, oh, she's dead now. Not a tear shed. Not one tear shed.
No, I don't think so. It just seemed like a real emotional inconsistency.
Lack of emotion.
But just that the kid wouldn't rebel and be like, no, there has to be an answer out there.
Yeah, or like,
well, I'll take her to a hospital, or
like, I'm not going to look at you, doctor, because
you killed my mother.
You killed my mother and you convinced her to kill herself, basically. Just very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. Very strange.
Give that man a job in Portland Psychiatric Unit. Underdeveloped themes. I heard Mark Commode, the film reviewer.
It's a very unfortunate name.
Commode?
Commode is the shit.
I think it's Kermode.
Oh.
Mark Commode. And he just talks shit.
It's that chair that you sit in and poop in.
Yeah, never made that connection. I hope you watch this. He said it's a movie that has a lot of ideas and isn't afraid to tell you that it has a lot of ideas.
It's gonna be 3 films. Put it into another one.
But I mean, I felt there was just so many themes, or there were a lot of things that just weren't developed. And like you said, if you're gonna make a trilogy, develop it, and you could have made it so much better. Like, religion was completely front and center.
It started the film.
There's no relevance to it. It was just there.
Is it just that you would, because of obviously what's going on, you would look to religion?
Yeah, but I mean, like the alpha was called Samson, and then when they returned from the first day, they played Delilah. So that's very intentional. Samson and Delilah.
Maybe tell the people. Because I wouldn't have a clue about that now.
Yeah, I thought that would be in the lexicon. Samson and Delilah. No,
I have no idea.
He was just a really big, strong man, and then, but all his strength was connected to his hair. So his wife cut off his hair in his sleep, and then he became weak. And then he was, I can't remember why he was captured, but he was captured. But then in the time he spent in prison, his hair grew back and he was strong. He was able to break free.
Okay. So in the film, there's alpha zombies in this film. So they've mutated, I suppose, or just become stronger. So they're kind of.
They said that the virus as like a steroid
developed
for certain people.
Yeah. Same as like COVID is worse for people, or some people can fight against it and be stronger than it, I suppose. Like that's the way you look. Or some people are, what's the word?
Yeah, literally this on steroids, because like the alpha's like 8 feet tall.
Yeah. And they watch and they think and they're able to like lead command. Yeah. So the big alpha is called Samson.
But yeah, that's just from the doctors.
Yeah.
And also the bone temple place of worship.
Yeah. And you said the song's Delilah in the background? Or they're singing the song Delilah
when they come back.
And Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, who's the father, kind of, what's the word people do when you tell a story, but kind of
embellish the
story, because they were running from an alpha, and then the guards ended up killing the alpha because they're harder to kill as well. So he was talking about how the young lad was brilliant and he wasn't.
Billy Big
And he
Bollocks
was,
there.
yeah,
We're
basically
fighting
doing
them.
everything. And then they're singing the song Delilah in between the cutting of him telling the story. So I wouldn't have known that was a religious thing,
Samson.
possibly.
You
at
ever
all.
heard
No,
Samson and Delilah?
no.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a big Jesus freak.
Big Jesus head.
Big Jesus
Big
freak.
Jesus head in you.
Okay, so you thought that it was but then I wonder, did they not go on with that because some people wouldn't know that? Or is it just that it was lazy?
But just mean
Why introduce it?
I don't know why there was so much religion in it, but it was front and center, but it wasn't a theme or
yes.
part of plot. It just didn't seem relevant or necessary.
Yeah.
It was just there.
Yeah.
But shoved in your face.
Yeah. But then not developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason.
Yeah.
And then you pointed out when the zombie gives birth.
Piss me right off. Let me get into this now. Okay. But then even to backtrack, I don't know if we should give out about your one like coming to in the middle of the night and like that. Isla. Is it Isla?
Yeah.
Her character, it could have extended itself for ages and could have worked across the trilogies, but then I don't know what their end goal is with the
But
film.
you know that... Sorry, it's not a trilogy. They have to see how well the next one does.
Oh, well, they've already released spoilers for the last one.
Well...
They've signed an actor on for the last one.
Well, now it could have changed since, but I saw an interview with Danny Boyle, and he says it's a lady directing the next one.
Yeah.
And he says, we'll see how that does, and then if we can make the third.
I think he's good in people. Because if he says that, people go, oh, we'll have to see the next one to see, because it's also been leaked that a certain actor is going to be a little bit in the next one, but is going to play a big plot in the last one.
The one from the end of this one?
No.
Who?
Cillian Murphy.
Oh,
they said he signed on for the next one. So they said he's going to be involved in the next 2 films.
Yeah.
And they said he's only going to be in the next one maybe a little bit, and then he's going to be in the last one.
Okay.
So I think that'll goad people into making the next one do well. Don't know why Danny Boyle's not doing all of them.
I don't think that's going to motivate your one to make a better movie. I think it's just about people viewing it.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's not going to make her make a better film. It's just going to make people go and see it. Like, I'm going to be like, sure, Cillian Murphy's going to be in it. I'm going to go to it. Obviously.
Cillian Murphy, a handsome woman or a pretty man?
I just think he's beautiful.
Yeah?
I do. I really do.
I saw him in Temple Bar. He is so short.
Yeah, they're all short.
But for someone with such presence.
Yeah, but they're all short. I know this is completely different, but but you know what Kardashians say?
Yeah? So
Khloe Kardashian, they always, back in the day, used to make her out as she's the big one. She's tall and she's heavy, like whatever.
She's
only like 5'9", if even. And she's the big, tall, freakish one.
They're
all like 5'2".
4'8".
Yeah, literally, like, I think Kim Kardashian's only like 5 foot.
Really?
Yeah, they're tiny. So then when they're saying she's big, gigantic, whatever, you're like, oh, she's only like... She's only like 5'9" or something. Or like, Kendall Jenner's a model, so she's 5'10", 11", if even. I don't know. I don't really keep up with the Kardashians. Anyway, so back to Isla. So, what we were saying. Yes, so they introduce her, she's in the bed, and then all of a sudden she's fine. And then there's a moment... She's kind of doddering around the place, I feel. Like, I know she's, like, obviously sick. And, like, there's always that sort of character that when there's, like, a zombie or a vampire or something like that, they always kind of... There is a gentle character who kind of tries to understand them, or tries to give them the benefit of the doubt. There is always that character in anything. Always tries to see the good in everything. So, we see a zombie who is pregnant.
With child.
I was like, oh, so that person must have been pregnant when they got infected.
Yeah.
That was my thought.
Okay.
So they'll forevermore be pregnant. I assume just dead baby inside them.
And it'll live there.
Okay.
Okay.
And until that zombie's dead.
Yeah.
And the baby and zombie will be dead. So they go on the train. and Jodie Comer's character comes across the zombie giving birth, which I thought was a bit mad. Like, obviously the zombies have been like coming up and trying to hurt them and attack them, but like then she walks up to the zombie and like puts her hands out. The zombie puts her hands together, and your one squeezes out a fresh new baby. Which is fine. But then I was like, oh my god, this is before they met the doctor as well. So I was like, she must be unwell. Now, I didn't think it was cancer. I thought maybe it was like
Alzheimer's or
not even that, or like just
fever,
or maybe just like a depressive thing, or episodes, or like whatever, something. So I was like, oh, she isn't a good host.
Yeah.
And this in my head as well. So I was like, she will be able to communicate with the zombies, or like kind of stand up, because remember there was another point where there was a zombie behind her and the son was like, don't move, and shoots at the beginning when they went. And I was like, oh, she wasn't very aware of that, because usually they're running up flat out at them. So I was like, oh, and she was able to kill that other one. So I was like, oh, she's able to communicate. Or I was like, she's gonna, and I was like, they're gonna walk through and they're gonna use her as like a ways to get supplies, or they're gonna use her as a ways to like be able to scout out locations, and she's gonna be able to get through different things without. And then sure, once the baby was popped out, she's like,
but I don't even like then. That was under interpretation, because I don't think she necessarily went for Jodie or Isla.
It was the fella, the young lad.
So like
yeah.
Like you said, I thought it could have been a good if you are diseased, like you said, you're not a viable host.
Yeah.
Which was that's how World War Z.
Yeah.
That was the cure for it in the end.
Yes.
He infects himself with a
life-threatening virus.
Well, it was something you could get, like
hepatitis.
I think it was, yeah. And then he was able to walk through the zombies, because the zombies knew, like,
he wasn't a viable host.
Exactly, because he was infected.
That film obviously stuck in my brain more than I thought it did. World War Z. I feel like it could have really, like, that could have been unreal.
Or it could have been explored.
Hugely.
Yeah. Like, that's it. It's just an underdeveloped theme.
Completely underdeveloped. And then I'm like, why introduce that at all?
Well, now, like the doctor said, he said, oh, the mysteries or the healing powers of placenta.
Yes.
So now they're saying either, like you said.
Sorry, the baby was born without zombie infection. The baby was a fresh baby that was free of any disease, rage, virus, blah, 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 blah.
That was another unbelievable point. The kid returning the baby to the gates of the commune, completely unnoticed, even though it's under 24-hour surveillance.
They're shit guards.
The pathway. And then they just heard the baby crying. And in that time, he was able to
run back.
Again, undetected.
But, like, sure, the alpha zombie will be able to do that.
Yeah.
Undetected.
It just didn't fit the narrative again.
Yeah, because they were so panicked about people getting on or getting in or anything that coming in
the
the gate.
They were so paranoid. Yeah. But you'd have to be, obviously, because only one has to get through. But like that, the kid can sneak up.
Yeah.
With a baby in a Tesco basket.
Yeah.
And hang it up. And then escape.
Yeah. But then as well, back to the unbelievable part or the underdeveloped themes, is that like the doctor was like healing powers of the placenta, so that obviously the mother's infection didn't spread to the baby. But then I'm like,
oh, so go on.
But then I'm like, well, did the mother get pregnant before she got infected, or did the Samson character impregnate a zombie? Are they having sex? Are the zombies having sex?
But that's what they're saying. That's what I heard people say. It's like it's either, like you said, was she pregnant before she got infected, or now have the zombies evolved, because with their evolution they would start breeding.
Okay.
But then if the zombies breed and the child is born, the child isn't infected. Like, is that I'm sure it'll be no, they'll probably completely disregard all this in the next movie and it'll all be forgotten about.
But again, the doctor, like, that's a theme. Like, he literally was there for 5 minutes.
Sorry, that's another unbelievable point, that he would have survived so long because he wasn't killing zombies, that he lived for 28 years on his own.
Where's he getting all the opium?
like I presume he just robbed everything from the pharmacy that he lived.
Yeah, but that's not
lived
going to
in.
last that while. He's there 28 years.
But what? Like
They go off.
Does it?
Yeah, medicines and shit. Well, Big Pharma says they go off.
They just put a sell by date on it.
Yeah.
So you have to shift it by.
But like some of the stuff, it loses potency.
But I don't think he's using it all the time, is he?
Well, he's last for 28 years. He'd have to be using it fucking enough.
What
food is he
What do you
living on?
know? Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, it's quite unbelievable. Or also that he'd let the child. I know he's staying there, but I'm like, go together. Why introduce a character that has so much that you could ask, or tell him to go to the island and be a doctor there?
yeah. I don't know. I think, but I think he said that he's gonna live there, because when the kid asks him, he's like, "Oh, what is that? The Bone Temple?" And he's like, "I thought I'd never get asked that question," because he thought I'd never meet another.
Yeah.
So I think he's happy
By himself.
but
You spec.
like I still think it's unbelievable. And then as well, he has all these hiding places, and then he gets caught when.
Yes, I was just about
And the
to
kid
say.
saves him.
Yeah.
Like, you would have died by now.
The baby didn't cry.
The baby didn't cry through it.
Not once do we hear a baby cry.
Maybe he should have grabbed it by the legs.
There was a newborn baby, and not once did it cry.
Oh, until you wanted it to cry when it was hung up on the gates. Oh,
Unbelievable.
Too far-fetched.
Yeah.
Too far-fetched for a zombie film.
For one that was so realistic for the first one.
Yeah, believable.
That's what's killing me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I have a problem with big Hollywood.
Okay. Hollywood productions, go on.
Aaron Taylor Johnson in it.
Yeah.
He's kind of a big name.
Yeah.
Ish name.
Yeah, no.
And like that, Ralph Fiennes, did we know he was going to be in it? We did.
Yeah, he was in the trailer.
Again, another big-ish name. Jodie Comer.
Yeah.
Big-ish name. Really big name. But like Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's in the beginning and then wasn't in it at all.
He's in the first half.
Again, I feel like they're goading us. I feel like it's like, oh, we're gonna. But I'm like, anyone could have played that character. Like, say for the boy, they got an unknown.
Yeah.
Like, you could have gotten an unknown for the dad character. I feel like.
But they do that too, so there's a name on the poster, so you go see it. Because people will watch it just for Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, same for Ralph Fiennes as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like you had such big characters and didn't do much with them. Such big names, such good actors.
But that's what I felt. All the performances were good.
Yeah, they were good.
It just wasn't great.
Yeah.
But I think I've thought that for a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Especially recently. That was one of my criticisms about the Phoenician Scheme. Like, the performances were all great. It just wasn't great.
Yeah, all performances were really good. I think Jodie Comer was very good.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Young lad was very good.
It's very hard lying in the bed all the time.
You know.
I do think the person who played the Alpha was very good. Like the physicality of it and stuff like that. And I do think
I thought it was Jason Momoa.
Shout out to all the people playing zombies as well, because their performances.
Zombies in the nip.
Like running around, like just the way they move and run around the place. I just think like that's very, like I'd say that's hard.
It'd be exhausting.
But also just to like look like you're fucking off your head with, do you know what I mean? That you're subhuman. You're not actually.
Yeah.
I think that's, it's very, because obviously they don't have speaking parts. It's a very physical. It's physical acting. It's not like, it's very easy to say stuff and sound like you mean it.
And as well, you don't have the range to like show emotion with your face.
No.
Because you're.
Yeah, exactly. So I do think it's very good. I did like the fact that we've seen that the virus has developed in some way.
Like, it's like I said earlier, but Mr. Toilet said.
Yeah.
It has a lot of ideas, and it's not afraid to tell you it has ideas.
Yeah.
Like that the Alpha is an evolution.
Yes.
It's a stylistic choice, or it's a theme, or instead of it just being a continuation of 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Where they're just thrashing around.
Yeah.
I guess like we know from COVID, the virus would mutate.
Yeah.
The characters and the performances, like you said, Aaron Taylor Johnson was front and center as being a main character, and then just completely sidelined, and then the mother is, and then she's out of it, and then the kid is, I guess. Just just lacks depth.
Yeah, and then like that, the introduction of, is it Eric?
Yeah.
So he was doing a patrol off the side of England, obviously.
Coast Guard.
Yeah, so they
make sure they're quarantined.
Yeah, so they were still, there's people from mainland Europe and the rest of the world making sure that England is still quarantined. So the rest of the world has continued on in the 28 years.
Yeah.
That the virus has been there.
Is he
so
Danish?
then they're Danish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then their ship
They got shipwrecked.
Shipwrecked, and then they go onto mainland. And once you're on the mainland, you're forgotten about forever and evermore.
Yeah.
So then he's introduced. So like he's an iPhone.
Yeah.
He talks about like stuff that's happening. Because obviously he's up to date with all the bits and bobs, and it is kind of a nice introduction to see that, okay, so everything is basically the same in the rest of the world. Yeah, the real world is our real world, I suppose. Yeah. But then get rid of him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he again was introduced and then gotten rid of.
But as well, he's a trained soldier. Oh, gone.
Yeah.
Whereas
also
confused mother and a 12-year-old child who's been on the mainland for one day.
Yeah, and also feel like if that happened, would they quarantine the whole place? Would they not try and get survivors? If the rest of the world was going on?
Well, why would they?
Suppose.
Like, there's enough people in the world.
Yeah, very true.
To like kill them all off.
I suppose it also shows the...
Well, I suppose it is very much a comment on... Well, I have it in later, but COVID and Brexit as well.
Yeah.
So when COVID happened, locked down all the borders.
Yeah, very true.
Which essentially is what this is a virus that rapidly spreads and mutates. It's very contagious and is, what's the word, terminal? Like another unexplored theme that was maybe a mirror of Brexit, of Britain being cast aside outside of Europe.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about that.
No?
No.
I did straight away.
Gas. Yeah, no, my brain didn't go that way.
The geopolitics of it all.
I think I just feel like all the characters were introduced. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to see how that develops. And as soon as you were like looking forward to seeing how that character develops, gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if they left Jodie in the bed and it had been the full movie of the father and son. Yeah,
that would have possibly been good. But then I suppose you have to look at it then. The fella seeing his father's infidelity is probably was the kind of turning point for him to go, fuck this, we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
My father's lied to me.
Yeah.
About loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as bad as he thinks.
Oh, you think that was?
A little bit. Sorry, again, to unbelievable stuff. The young lad went on, his dad brought him onto the island to teach him how to shoot.
Yeah.
But then we got flashes of kids.
I never felt scared. No. Okay. For the first hour, I was scared.
Okay. On edge.
Yeah. But then, when they got back to the island, I think I was scared. It was just the way that they broke up the movie into two halves.
Yes.
For the first hour, I was, like someone said at home, for the first hour was good. The first half was good. I was on edge then, and then I think it was when stuff started to be really convenient. I was like, this is just going to be a walk in the park.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't feel like I was ever scared after that. But that could also be like you said, I don't know if I liked the child. Couldn't care if he died. Couldn't care if father died. Couldn't care if Jodie Comer died because she's a Scouser. It just didn't have that tension. There were so many near misses, but it didn't...
Like that with the gas station. If the mother had gone in and say, Eric saved them. But if the mother had gone in and he didn't make it and she shoved him out, I know they were running from zombies, so that wasn't going to happen. And then it blew up and he was waiting to see if she survived. That would have been a bit of tension. There was no...
It was all, everything resolved very easily.
Yeah, or if she had been bitten by the pregnant zombie, or one of them had been bitten and then their leg had to be amputated.
Yeah, or the mother got infected. The mother got caught. The mother got killed, or the father did, or someone did. there was never that sense of loss because none of the main characters
No.
ever snuffed it.
And like that, what they did, but the one time of loss,
Yeah,
it's off
exactly.
screen,
Yeah,
and then also
and
it's
it's
done very
revealed
quick and ceremonial, and
exactly.
yeah,
It was very respectful and and um, Ralph Fiennes, his character, he's meant to be this villainous human as well.
yeah,
Weird.
yeah,
He'd be up to anything. Sweet as pie.
yeah.
Nice as anything.
I think I was scared here, but then this adds into it as well. I think for me, what made it not scary was the flashes of like the thermal camera, I'm gonna say, for like the nighttime zombie stuff.
Yeah.
The music, the use of music. Whereas the first film there was a lot of quiet moments, and I know I saw an interview with Danny Boyle. He said we had to add music into it because they're like, you're gonna give people heart attacks. Give people heart attacks. That's what scary films are about.
Yeah.
The fear. I know sometimes you have little music, but there was a lot of like, I feel like new music, and there was a lot of music where I felt like there shouldn't have been music.
Really, yeah.
I think like it just was put in there for this. I feel like just put music in there. Like there's a part where there was a part where they were walking through the forest and there was just music blasting over it, and I was like, if this had been quiet, it would have been lovely.
Just ambient sounds.
Ambient
twigs,
sounds. Yeah.
Birds.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
But there was music, and then like it was weird having the nighttime zombie footage because I'm like, is that people watching them?
Yeah.
Or is this just a stylistic
or
choice?
this is how the zombies are at night.
I'm like, but the fact, I think it's better that you don't know.
Don't know what.
I feel like they shouldn't have added those nighttime zombie because I'm like, well, nobody knows what they're doing at nighttime unless you're watching them.
Yeah.
We shouldn't know because that's the thing. It's like this unknown is the scary thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where you get your scares.
That's what Alfred Hitchcock said that.
I'm sure even Jaws.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just don't know. Like it's the fear of what's to come.
Yeah.
Whereas if you see what the zombies are at nighttime, like, well, sure, I know what's to come.
Yeah.
You know?
It was really just force fed down.
Yeah. Or like that saying the first film, when you saw rats running, you knew the zombies were near because they're running from something. Like just more of yeah, but I don't but like just you know, don't need sound. You don't need sound all the time. And I think like it's the quiet moments where you're building, or you hear something cracking, or you hear like a thud of something. You're like, oh, something's coming, but you don't know what it is or how much of something's coming. It's like that fear. But again, you didn't feel afraid because constant sound and constant sensory overload.
When they had that new wave bullet time.
Yeah.
Have you seen them rigs? I think that was just so.
Cash grab.
Yes. Apple said we'll give you 100,000 or whatever if you shoot some of it on iPhones.
Yeah, we want to prove our cameras are as good as cinema cameras.
Now look, what's his name does it a lot, David Fincher. So like he was it Fight Club or something else? He edited it in Final Cut Pro.
Okay.
And it must have been because Final Cut Pro were giving him a bank of money. And then I think, remember that one he did, The Assassin, edited that in Premiere Pro.
Okay.
Which is what I use.
Oh, okay.
It's not industry standard, but it's like Premiere give them funding to do it.
But then, do you know what?
Sorry, that was the iPhone, I thought.
Yeah.
And they were doing that bullet time. It just felt unnecessary, and it was. Now, saying that, 28 days later, they shot that on camcorders.
Yeah.
So that's not in HD.
But also adds to the...
Exactly, that's what he said. He wanted it to be like home footage.
Yeah.
And
I feel like they should have done that here.
But he said as well, because they did that, it allowed them to shoot London.
Yes.
He said they were just stopping traffic.
Yeah.
And he said people will tolerate that for 3 minutes, but then they're like, well, I have to get to work.
Yes.
Get out of the way. So he said if you had big lights and big setups and everything, you wouldn't have been able to get them shots.
And in saying that to them, it would have been great to do that with this film, because obviously it's...
On the iPhone?
No, on camcorder or whatever, because it would give it that kind of grittiness again.
Yeah.
Whatever. However, in saying that, I don't think nowadays you would be able to do what they did with the film back then, because obviously if social media is so big that like if someone saw that happening, you know, you'd have hundreds of people probably showing up.
I don't know.
So say like London, you couldn't do that in London now, I would say, on a camcorder.
No.
Because it's obviously the population's gotten bigger, so many more people that show up. Do you know, so you couldn't probably get those quiet shots really anymore.
Yeah, well, I think like Danny Boyle would have. Yeah, but Cillian Murphy was pretty much unknown then.
Yeah. But it would have been nice. I just feel like it's too polished looking
Yeah.
for the type of film that.
Yeah.
Then maybe that's our own fault for assuming too much.
But like you said, the night vision.
What was that?
Just unnecessary.
If it had been related to the fellas that had been.
But it wouldn't be practical in that world to have night vision shots.
But if it had been related to the lads that were shipwrecked on the island,
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, maybe.
But it didn't link in.
So this is a big spoiler. Is it a spoiler? Well, it is it's a key point of the plot that happens at the end, but
again, another rush job. And another fucking... Anyway, so, at the end of the film, the baby is found by the people on the island. And you know that the young lad... I can't even know his name.
We'll go with the young lad.
The young lad has, as you said, unrealistically gotten this baby back to the edge of the island, found low tide, run out, hung him up at the fence with no one seeing him, run back, the tide has come up.
Leaves a note for his father. And
is back on the island doing shit. So then he's la-di-da-di-da, caught himself a fish, frying up the fish, and he's able to catch fish now. Because we don't know that wasn't in his fucking repertoire before. I don't know. Anyway, so he's minding his own business, and do a bunch of zombies come near?
Yeah.
And then
he starts picking off a few, but then
because of his newfound fucking amazing archery skills.
Yeah, Robin Hood the second here.
And then all of a sudden, these back flipping fuckers.
The Power Rangers.
It was literally like the Power Rangers. They were inhumanely flipping around the place in like matching tracksuits.
That's surreal, even for this world.
It felt like the Power Rangers.
But that's...
Now.
Go on.
Is that a stylistic choice because Power Rangers would have been popular in 2002?
No, there's different, elements as well, because were they the Power Rangers or were they the Teletubbies? Because apparently they're in the same colour tracksuits as the Teletubbies.
Okay.
He's also wearing a tiara, which...
Dipsy.
Was it Dipsy? One of them had... No, which one was
Tinky Winky?
Yeah.
Tinky Winky's the one with the handbag.
One had a hat. I think one had a tiara. Can't remember.
Lala.
Maybe.
Yeah, one of them anyway. Okay.
Or was it that? But then there's also... What?
They were watching...
Teletubbies.
At the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, when the kid leaves to go to the island on the first day, he picks up a Power Ranger toy and he's going to put it in his bag and he leaves it at home. That's meant to mean him growing up, becoming a man. Whereas, alternatively, Jimmy would have been stuck in a case of arrested development, so he's still a child.
In his head.
Yeah, he never would have grown from the age of when he watched.
Okay.
That was a theory I heard.
Okay, I haven't looked at any theories first time ever.
Yeah, I watched it a little bit after.
Okay.
But then it just felt, again, so unrealistic that they're parkour champions. And doing flips around. And kung fu masters.
So, to backtrack a little bit as well, over the course of the film, we see a few zombie people hung upside down, and they've got like Jimmy carved into their chests and stuff.
And there's a graffiti on the wall of a church, or that abandoned building.
Yeah.
Jimmy is coming or something.
Jimmy is coming. Something about Jimmy.
No, I think it was like a reference to God, and it's like he is coming, and someone wrote Jimmy beside it.
So then these backflipping fuckers come in, they kill all the zombies, and the kid's looking, and it's Jack O'Connell?
Yeah.
Jack O'Connell. But for us who know now, so this character, Jimmy, and he's got the cross, so it's the child from the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Then surmise. So we were like, oh, so Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character isn't that character, this is this lad. So as you said, he hasn't developed, he's probably still stuck in this mindset of he's that young child.
Yeah.
at the beginning of the film, so his brain hasn't developed. Who knows who's been around all these years? But he's dressed like Jimmy Savile, and they're all dressed like Jimmy Savile. They're all in blonde wigs and tracksuits, and Jimmy Savile was known for always being in a tracksuit.
Yeah.
Why?
Now, I just thought it was really tasteless and
Very
unnecessary.
tasteless.
Because, like, there's still victims of Jimmy Savile living today.
Yeah.
It just felt like a really sick choice. Because their comment is, like, no one would have known. It wouldn't have come out about Jimmy Savile.
Yes.
So he still would have been this pop icon.
Yes.
I just don't think it was...
It's in bad taste.
It was in really bad taste.
Yeah. I know...
Unnecessary.
I know that he probably would have been a very popular TV presenter at that time, but I'm sure there's a million other TV presenters they could have picked.
No, it is apparently meant to be a comment on picking and choosing elements you remember from the past.
Okay.
But I just, like I said, I think it was really distasteful and
Yeah.
irresponsible
Yeah.
to do that.
Mm.
Let Jimmy Savile die and his name never be spoken again or referenced.
Like, pick your man from Art Attack.
Yeah.
He's nice.
But I mean, I don't even think, because I would have been 12 in 2002.
Mm.
I wouldn't have known who Jimmy Savile was then. Like, he wouldn't have been front and centre in the public eye as he was in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. And like that not be like, and this isn't it, but you've got like family in England and stuff like that, so you would have been, and like
more
that,
exposed,
but then you would have been a lot more exposed because your parents and whatever. So like, yeah, but whereas I would have known the name, because I don't know when that first Louis Theroux documentary came out about.
Yeah, I remember watching that, but I was like, who is he?
Yeah, I would have known from my parents.
Yeah, exactly, but I don't think that this child from 2002...
Because I was watching Teletubbies at that time, probably before that.
So 28 years later, so it's 2030.
Yeah.
So he's probably mid-30s. Like, if he was 8, say.
Yeah.
36.
Yeah, like...
An 8-year-old, I don't think, would know who Jimmy Savile was.
Yeah.
Especially because they'd be younger than I was.
Mm.
Like I said, I just thought it was a really distasteful choice.
Yeah, they could have picked anyone.
Yeah.
Or just another presenter, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have...
Now that has,
100,000 allegations.
Yeah.
Like, not even allegations, just...
Yeah. Like, I know you said that maybe it's to show that this character is evil because of what we know now.
Yeah.
But also...
I just felt it was unnecessary. Like you said, Cillian Murphy's in the next one.
Apparently.
Do you remember what Cillian Murphy was called in the first one?
No.
Jim.
Okay.
So they're saying it has to be a choice for two main characters in a movie to be called Jim.
Okay.
Like, are they all worshipping Jim? Because he's obviously, we know he's survived now, even though we haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Are they followers of Jim? And he's the next.
Yeah.
Jim in line.
I don't know.
I don't know. But
was the child's name not Jimmy?
I can't remember if it was at the start. I don't know if... I can't remember if they say Jimmy run or...
Yeah.
If they just... No, she would have said, yeah, run, Jimmy.
I think so.
Yeah, like you said, it's
just bad choice, I
very
think.
tasteless.
Yeah, very tasteless. And like surprised that was...
Approved. Like a lot of people are saying this is one of the best movies ever, or the best movie of the year. And like, it hasn't had that on us. But I suppose the only movie we've drastically disagreed on was Beau Was Afraid. Maybe Avatar. But I loved it. I think good art polarizes.
Yeah.
Art isn't meant to be loved.
And at the end of the day, we're talking about it.
Exactly. And I will go see the next one.
Oh, I'm going to see the next two.
Yeah.
I'll buy tickets and popcorn.
No, I'll make it.
I'll have to see how it ends. If Cillian Murphy's in it, I'm watching it.
I'm in it.
Yeah. Just have him stand there as a zombie for 2 hours. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Just follow him around.
Zombieing around.
Yeah.
I think it was hinted that the emaciated guy was.
Yeah, that was a fucking...
rim tickler.
Yeah. Everyone was commenting on it. Now they're like, oh, Cillian Murphy. And it's like, no, he has not reprised the role as a zombie. So like that was... They knew what they were doing by hiring that man.
Carrot dangling. Oh yeah.
But he is hired for those roles. I think like he is an emaciated man.
Yeah, he's just really skinny. But that's his.
That's his.
He's not unhealthy, like. Well,
no, I don't think
like
so.
He's an art dealer or something, isn't he?
Is he? That's his shtick.
So, Aaron Singleton, it's that time in the video where I'm gonna have to ask you to do a rating. So, on a scale of yesterday to Trainspotting, where are we ranking this Danny Boyle film?
Well, I've never seen Yesterday.
Have you not?
No.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh well, I really wanted to see it.
It was.
I tend to like shit films, except for this one.
It wasn't rubbish. It was just.
Meh.
Oh yeah, like. There's no resolution to the problem.
Yeah, see, you're a resolutions man.
But write the script.
Also, yeah. Just have us finish it. Start and end. It's main storytelling. Start and end.
3-act structure. Beginning, middle, end.
Yeah. So what we're taught in English class.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be diplomatic about it.
Yeah.
Because I was very disappointed. It wasn't a bad film.
Yes.
But I'm trying to separate my own feelings. Like, if I was to just do it off feelings alone, I'd give it a 2.
Oh.
Yeah, like, I was so disappointed because I really loved 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
So I was, and like, just like that, the extra music and the way it wasn't done, like, I would have done it on the, and like, there's so many things I'm like, I could have done that so much better, it would have been so much better. But it wasn't a bad film.
Yeah.
And I will go and see it because as much as we're like, well, it was uncouth to put a Jimmy Savile person,
yeah.
Well, maybe it's not, maybe we're reading into it.
Oh, no, it is.
Okay.
This said it is.
Danny Boyle.
Yeah.
Oh, well, prick.
And Alex Garland.
It has made me want more. It's left me going, I need to see what they do with this because it's so fucking mad.
Yeah,
so it keeps me wanting it.
Like you said, for some reason I know I will go see.
I'm like a dog with a bone. They're just dangling it in front of me and I'm like...
The dog hasn't got the bone that's being dangled.
That's what I mean. I'm like, I'm the dog. I'm like, ah!
You're trying to get the bone.
I'm the dog without the bone. I'm like, ah! So I'm going to say... I'm going to give it a 5.
5?
Yeah.
I think I'd do 6.5.
Okay. I'm cutthroat.
Yeah. Like,
I just have too many ill feelings.
Like, would you advise people to see it?
See, a lot of people I know I don't think have seen 28 Days Later.
Really? People?
Yeah, so I'd be like, watch that, and then if you want to see that. And loads of people I've seen online were like, I've never seen it before, but this makes me want to go see 28 Days Later now.
So good.
It's so good, and I just think that, like that, I wouldn't say, if someone went to see it in the cinema, like, if they were going to see it and they're like, oh, I'm thinking of seeing that, I'd be like, okay, have you seen the first one? If you haven't, you don't necessarily need to see it first. But I would highly recommend watching the new one first and then going back to the old one because the old one's so good. So you're just going to
be
disappointed.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I decided to give it a 6.5
out
of 10. Probably, yeah, I think you summed it up. Watch that and then watch the previous one. But because the previous one is just so much better. And like I said, I will go see the sequel. But then I don't, depending on how that goes, I might abandon it like it was Star Wars.
Like if I get a voucher for the cinema, I'll go see it.
Yeah. Or a super chat. Got to read it out. Thanks for making it this far into the video. Please hit that subscribe button. We're at about 840 subs. Got to get to the magic number 1,000 by the 9th of December to hit that monetization and get that AdSense revenue. If you like this review, right here, click that and there's a playlist full of reviews that we've done. And as always, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.